Well, it is a Friday, and it is time to talk some dollars and cents with our financial expert, Davis Garrison the Third from Preservation Financial Group here in Johnson City. And Davis, it is always good to have you back on the show. Thanks for being here today.
Thanks for having me.
Well, today you're talking about healthcare costs, especially when it comes to older Americans. And certainly, as we're seeing over the years, those costs continue to climb for those Americans.
They really do. And Healthcare Services is a firm that gathers statistics and makes probability statements about the cost of health care. Their most recent findings were today a couple over age 65, their health care costs in their lifetime will be $395,000. A couple over age 65, 10 years from now, their health care costs for their lifetime, and this does not include long-term care coverage.
Okay.
But if they retire 10 years from now, their health care costs will probably exceed $450,000.
Oh my goodness.
And what makes it even worse is that there was a survey done a couple of months ago, and 57% of the United States population could not come up with $1,000 to cover a crisis if it occurred. So how are these people, it's going to take every bit of their Social Security just to pay for their health care.
And their medical costs.
Exactly.
And that's with all the programs and things that we have in place to help them.
Exactly. And so, what are they going to do for food, clothing, housing? We're going to have an entire generation that are dependent on financial assistance. And 2/3 of Americans will need to be cared for financially in the future, and that's sad. What's the government going to do about it? They're going to start. Well, they've already started. If you remember, the elimination of 2 of the main filing strategies for Social Security, April 29th, that is a tax. $10.1 billion was saved by that. They're going to start eliminating different things to raise revenue. Inherited IRAs. If your parents have an IRA and they both die, then that becomes an inherited IRA to you. They are going to do away with that.
Oh, wow.
You'll have to start paying taxes on that immediately if you inherit it. There are different things. Capital gains, if you're in the 10 or 15% tax bracket, you pay no capital gains. They are going to eliminate capital gains and make everything ordinary income tax.
So this is all the things they're working on right now to get rid of in order to try to come up with some of this to help out the 2/3.
Exactly.
And you look at, I think just now, even knowing with healthcare and health insurance companies and seeing the difference that we're paying out of pocket, so you can see how that is happening, and it just continues to be a cycle.
It's skyrocketing at an unbelievable rate. And we've talked about it before, but for people to really get a sense of where we are, go to usdebtclock.org, and you'll see clocks, a full page of clocks. The national debt, $19 trillion, right? Global debt, and everybody's doing it. Everybody on the globe is doing it. Our $19 trillion only represents 9% of the total global debt. Brazil is about to host the Olympics. Brazil is in a depression. People are drinking water after a rainfall out of footprints in Brazil. That's how bad it is. So it's a global phenomenon. These tax loopholes are going to be closed. It'll be a different world 10 years from now.
What do we do now in order to prepare ourselves for something like this? I know you have a lot of different retirement plans, and you account for things like the crazy inflation, but how do you even remotely try to increase and be part of this to make up that difference?
Well, I ask people, do you think that there were millionaires made in the Great Depression? And yes, there were a lot of them. But were those the people that were planned and prepared, or were those the people that just decided to wing it and see what happens? And what we do, we have strategies and vehicles that allow you to turn an adversarial event into an opportunity.
Well, certainly an important topic and just some crazy statistics. Dave, it's great to have you on the show today. Thanks for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
It is Preservation Financial Group. They are located right there over on Sunset Drive in Johnson City. You can check out the website for more information.
The preceding portion of Daytime was sponsored by